The Thousand-Year Blood War frames Yhwach as the ultimate Quincy savior, a divine king returning from a thousand-year slumber to rescue his people from the tyranny of the Soul Society. But that is a masterful piece of cult propaganda. The terrifying truth is that Yhwach isn't a king. He's a cannibalistic cosmic parasite. He doesn't view the Stern Ritters as an elite military force, and he certainly doesn't view them as his children. To Yhwach, his entire loyal army is nothing more than a head of disposable livestock, artificially fattened up, waiting for the moment he gets hungry enough to slaughter them. Welcome back to the archives. Tonight we are declassifying the sickening biology of the Quincy Blood War. And if this file makes you see Bleach differently, then that like button is how you declassify this intel for more people. To understand why the entire Quincy Empire is just a massive walking blood bank, we need to look at how Yhwach was actually born. When Yhwach came into this world, he wasn't a god, he was a biological failure. He was deaf, blind, mute, and completely paralyzed. He couldn't even cry. But he had one terrifying evolutionary trait, the ability to distribute fragments of his own soul to others. When people touched this paralyzed infant, their ailments were cured. The blind could see, the sick were healed. Cowards found courage. But this wasn't a miracle, it was an investment, because the moment these people died, after unusually short lives, the pieces of Yhwach's soul they borrowed returned to him, bringing all the knowledge, power, and skills the person had cultivated. Yhwach literally cured his own paralysis by feeding off lives of his followers. This is the foundation of his entire existence. He does not generate his own power, he only survives by leeching off the life forces of others. He is the ultimate apex predator dressed in a divine clothing. When Yhwach recruits a Quincy into the Stern Ritters, he performs a blood ritual. He carves an initial into their soul, a script that grants them immense reality-bending power. The Stern Ritters view this as the ultimate honor. They worship him for it. They go to war for it. But mathematically, what is Yhwach actually doing? He is seasoning his food. By giving a Stern Ritter a piece of his soul, he is allowing them to train it, sharpen it in battle, and push it to its absolute limit. They think they are growing stronger to serve him. In reality, they are incubating his power. Yhwach is letting them do the hard work of leveling up his soul fragments, knowing with absolute certainty that he will just harvest it all back when the time is right. It is a terrifying Stockholm syndrome. They are quite literally fighting and dying to feed the man who plans to consume them. Tell me in the comments, which Stern Ritter power do you think was the most broken, and did they deserve the fate Yhwach gave them? The archives wants to know. But this horrific dynamic reaches its absolute peak when he activates the Ashwallen, or the Holy Selection. When Yhwach is backed into a corner, or when he simply decides his subordinates have outlived their usefulness, he initiates the Ashwallen. He forcefully strips the power, the life force, and the soul fragments from his own Quincy's, reabsorbing them to reconstruct his elite guards or empower himself. This is where the illusion of the Savior King shatters completely. He did it to Masaki Kurosaki and Katagiri 9 years before the story began, killing Ichigo's and Uryu's mother, just to regain his own strength. He does it to Robert, and all the other lower-ranking Stern Ritters literally turn his most loyal veterans into skeleton husks while they beg for their lives. To Yhwach, this is no difference between an enemy soul reaper and a loyal Quincy. They are all just calories. The moment his own soldiers stop being useful weapons, they revert to his primary function, being his next meal. Yhwach wages war against the Soul Society because he claims the current world is broken. He despises how the Zero Squad manipulated his father, the Soul King, turning him into a paralyzed, lifeless battery to hold the dimensions together. But here's the dark irony, the terrifying fact that makes Yhwach one of the anime's most chilling villains. He is doing the exact same thing to his own people. He is using their bodies, their soul, and their devotion as a battery to fuel his own ascension. He isn't breaking the cycle of cruelty in the Bleach universe, he is just simply perfecting it. Yhwach doesn't want a kingdom of equals, he wants a universe where every living soul is just a temporary vessel for his own power. If these files are worth reading, the archives need more agents. Hit the subscribe, more classified intel drops every week. This is a declassified file for another night. Bon Kai.